Oh man, it's funny. Let's see. Shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us his truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful Akim, teaching and preaching his truth with all righteousness and sincerity. This is Ak Wasap, and today's lesson is entitled Israelite Men That Dealt with Harlots and Heathens in the Bible. And Lord willing, you be edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, the true names of the Heavenly Father and his only begotten Son. And as always, the sit downs, the lessons, the street speaking is for the remnant, the elect, the Israel of the Most High, and to you as the gospel preached. So as of late, the topic of dealing with harlots and heathens has pretty much been, been spoke about lately, as of late. So I want to go into it. At the end of the day, yeah, of course, you want to deal with Israelite women, all right? But there is accounts where men in the Lord have dealt with harlots and heathens, all right? And we can't negate the fact that this happened, all right? And just like Apostle Paul said, I have not shunned to declare unto you the whole gospel of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And all of this is a part of the gospel, the good news, okay? So I got about 2 accounts of each, all right? A man dealing with a harlot, which the harlots are known today as prostitutes, okay? And then heathens, all right? So we're gonna start here in Genesis 8. And brothers have covered this topic, but it's good, for brothers to have these lessons on their channels. So when newcomers come in and they search the channels, they go into the archives, they can get edified on these different, situational events. So here in Genesis 38, we have Judah here. All right. And it says, and Judah took a wife for his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. And Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of Yahweh, and Yahweh slew him. So he was probably into idol worship, all right, or some manner of wickedness for the Lord to rise up and bring judgment upon his firstborn. It says, and Judah said unto Onan, go into thy brother's wife and marry her and raise up seed to thy brother, which this is one of the customs that is actually in the law. All right, it's called the kinsman redeemer. And we're going to briefly go into that when we hit the book of Ruth. So here in Deuteronomy 25, and this goes into the law, the statutes and commandments. And it says this in the 5th verse, if brethren dwell together and one of them die and have no child, when you go into this in the Hebrew, this word is son, all right? Because we pass things down to our son, our men child. It says the wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. Her husband's brother shall go unto her and take her to him, the wife, and perform the duty of a husband's brother unto her. So that's what we're reading here in Genesis 38. And our elders and apostles of Great Millstone have always mentioned how, all right, before the law, the statutes and commandments was written on stone during the time of Moses, it was verbal. And we're reading that verbal law here being exercised in Genesis 38. Once again, Genesis 38:8, and Judah said unto Onan, go unto thy brother's wife and marry her and raise up seed to thy brother. And Onan knew that the seed should not be his. And it came to pass when he went unto his brother's wife that he spilled it on the ground. So he bust on the ground, shot it on the ground, least that he should give seed to his brother. So he was probably envious or jealous of his brother, or he didn't want to raise up a seed and name it after his brother. He probably wanted his own, so he didn't adhere to his father's counsel. And that counsel was done through the Spirit because we read about it in the law. So here in the 10th verse, it says, "And the thing which he did displeased Yahweh, therefore he slew him also." So he didn't do righteousness in the sight of the Lord. It says, "Then said Judah to Tamar, his daughter-in-law." So now this woman, she's a widow. So now she's under the under the roof of her father-in-law. "Remain a widow at thy father's house," like at her father's house, "till Shelah, my son, be grown. For he said, least peradventure he die also, as his brethren did." And Tamar went and dwelt in her father's house. In the process of time, the daughter of Shua, Judah's wife, died, and Judah was comforted and went up into his sheep shears in Timnath, he and his friend Hira the Adulamite. And it was told Tamar, saying, "Behold, thy father-in-law goeth up to Timnah to shear his sheep." And she put her widow's garments from off from her and covered her with the veil and wrapped herself and sat in the open place, which is by the way of Timnah, for she saw that Shiloh was grown and she was not given unto him the wife. So she's seeing, okay, well, Judah's other son that's alive, she's grown. Judah hasn't given Shiloh to me yet. So she was making haste. So she took off her widow's garments. And she went into an open place, right? When Judah saw her, remember, Tamar, she was disguised. She took off her widow's garment and she wrapped herself with a veil, right? Covered herself. It says he thought her to be a harlot. All right. She had obviously harlot apparel on. She's out there in the open place, just like you see out on when you out there on the streets. Out here in California, you got Long Beach Boulevard, you got Figueroa. All right. And these are major streets where, a lot of prostitute activity is heavy at. Normally they're in a wide place or in an open place, major, foot traffic areas, so on and so forth. So it says 15, when Judah saw her, he thought her to be a harlot because she had covered her face. And he turned unto her by the way and said, "Go to, I pray thee, let me come in unto thee." So he's basically saying, hey, look, I want to hit. But he knew not that she was his daughter-in-law. And she said, "What wilt thou give me that thou mayest come in to me?" And so it's a transaction, it's an exchange. It says, and he said, "I will send thee a kid from the flock, a goat or sheep." And she said, "Wilt thou give me a pledge till thou send it?" So a pledge is like a loan, all right? You give something in place of something until the person, brings the thing that he agreed to bring. And he said, "What pledge shall I give thee?" And she said, "Thy signet and thy bracelets, the staff that is in thy hand." And he gave it her and came in unto her, and she conceived. So the point is, this is Judah, and he dealt with a harlot. We see that the actions of his sons were displeasing in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord slew them. But here it is, Judah, he dealt with a harlot, which this woman, Tamar, she described herself as a harlot, and he went into her and she conceived. So judgment didn't go out on Judah. So therefore, the practice of dealing with harlots isn't wicked. All right, you can continue reading on there. You got Hosea, prophet, man of the Lord. He was a prophet of the northern kingdom. Here in Hosea 1:1, it says, "The word of Yahweh that came unto Hosea," which Hosea in the Hebrew is Hawashai. And Judah name in the Hebrew, bro, should know is Yahweh, which means the Most High thanks or the Most High praise. So here in Hosea 1:1, it says, "The word of Yahweh that came to Hosea, the son of Beri, in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah, in the days of Jeroboam, the son of Joash, king of Israel." And yeah, it was two Jeroboams. You had Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, and then you had another Jeroboam, the son of Joash, right? It says, "The beginning of the word of Yahweh by Hosea, and Yahweh said to Hosea," or Hawashai, "Go and take unto thee a wife of whoredoms and the children of whoredoms, For the land have committed great whoredom, departed from Yahweh. So the Lord told, hey, Hosea, look, go get you a harlot, which this was symbolic to the state that Israel was in. Israel was acting like a harlot. She was, Israel was worshiping these different idols and these gods and following after the ways of the heathen. So with the Lord being married unto us, let's get this real quick in Isaiah. With the Lord being married unto us, this is a union, and what brings us together with the Lord was the covenant, the law, the statutes, and commandments. And if we were to worship other gods and transgress the law, statutes, and commandments, then that's what you call fornication, which is spiritual adultery. It says, get straight to the point. Isaiah 54:5, for thy maker is thy husband, Yahweh of hosts is his name, and thy redeemer, the Holy One of Israel, the power of the whole earth shall he be called. Yahweh have called thee as a woman forsaken and grieved in spirit, a wife of youth, when thou was refused, saith thy power. So children of Israel, we're married unto the Lord. The Lord is our husband. So when we go and commit the act of idol worship, that's an act of spiritual adultery. We're worshiping another man. We're worshiping another idol, another power, another God. Okay. For a small moment, I have forsaken thee. The various things that the children of Israel went through history. It was like a forsaken. The Lord was done with us. He let the heathen get it. He let our enemies get us. But with great mercies will I gather thee. And the gathering right now is starting off by the word, the truth. What's this truth, this knowledge, the wisdom, this information is a great sifter. And as with a sifter, or they call it a grape. What is it called? Let me see if I can find it real quick. This is a sifter. Metal. Oh wait, this is a sifter. And of course, these videos is lessons within lessons. It's another name. A stainless steel mesh sieve. So this is a sifter. Okay. So you will look at the descriptions, basically this instrument here, right? And whatever product is put through here, we can use flour, for example. The stuff that you want, it'll be kept inside this sifter. The refuse, or the stuff that you don't want, is going to seep through. So the doctrine, if you are of the elect, you'll be kept in this inside the sifter, because this is the stuff that you desire. If you're making pasta and you want to sift out the water that you boiled the pasta in from the pot, you want to sift it out, you would pour the pasta inside this, and then these small holes will allow the water to pass through it. The water and the starch that's in the water is what you don't want. All right. And that's how this doctrine is. All right. It sifts out the unwanted. So if you don't believe in, these various accounts with men dealing with harlots, and, the Lord was cool with it, didn't get judged, and if you get emotional about it, then this truth ain't for you. You're a non-believer. All right. And since I spoke about the sifter, let's go ahead and get it. What is that? Amos 9, I believe. It's entitled The Most High Judgment Unavoidable. Thinking about what just happened in Turkey. They're saying it's 17,000 people that got put to death from the earthquake, and that was judgment. Amos 9:8, behold, the eyes of Yahweh are upon the sinful kingdom. At this time, this sinful kingdom was talking about Israel. And the eyes of the Lord are the angels. They go to and fro on the earth, beholding the good and the evil, and they go back and report it to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And I will destroy it from off the face of the earth. And with these curses fallen upon our enemies and those that hate us, this sinful kingdom is now Babylon the Great. And the Lord will destroy it from off the face of the earth by thermonuclear destruction, as well as the laser beams out of the chariots. Saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith Yahweh, because the Lord has a remnant and elect, the Israel of the Most High. For lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Israel among nations, like as corn is sifted in the sieve. And this example that I had up here of the sieve, let me pull it back up real quick. Always good to have visuals. This is a sieve or metal strainer. All right. Like I said, the doctrine is likened unto this instrument here, the metal strainer, and then you will put, particular substance in this that you want separated from something else. Like the example I gave you through the spirit. If you're boiling some pasta and you want to separate the water after you cook the pasta, you want to separate the water and the starch. You pour it through here. You will keep the pasta, and then the refuse, the stuff that you don't want, will seep through and go down the drain. So with the truth being like this instrument here, the Lord is using the prophets to sift through the nations, as it says here in Amos. I will sift the house of Israel among nations. So this doctrine is being pushed out. You got Israelites all throughout the nations. And those who are of the elect will be kept inside here and be, this is the desirable substance that you want to keep. The stuff that you don't want is going to fall straight through it. So once again, Amos 9:9, for lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like as a corn is sifted in a sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. All right. So if you're of the elect, all right, even if you're of the least grain, you're not going to fall upon the earth. It says, and all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword. These are the unrepentant sinners, because we all have sinned and came short of the glory, but we repented through the Spirit and we believe on Yahushua, and Yahushua have covered our sins. But those who are without that covering, all right, the Lord is going to judge. All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us, which these are unbelievers. So now, all right, we went into that with Judah. We are here in Hosea chapter 1 and 2. It says the beginning of the word of Yahweh by Hosea. And Yahweh said unto Hosea, go and take thee a wife of whoredoms and the children of whoredoms, for the land have committed great whoredoms, departed from the Lord. So the Lord commanded Hosea to go get a harlot, which is known today as a prostitute. So he went and took Gomer, the daughter of Diblaim, which conceived and bare him a son. So he had children by this woman. Hosea was a righteous prophet. Now, we're going to segue from dealing with the harlots to Israelite men dealing with heathen women, right? So this is the book of Ruth. And Ruth in the Hebrew is Rawath, which means basically a female companion. She was down with Naomi, right? Ruth chapter 1, verse 1. Now it came to pass in the days when the judges ruled. So this book is going into history, all right? It's not so much about Ruth. It should be more about Boaz and him following the law, the statutes, and commandments as far as being a kinsman redeemer, all right? But Ruth chapter 1, verse 1, and now it came to pass in the days when the judges ruled that there was a famine in the land. And a certain man of Bethlehem, Judah, a Judite, went and sojourned in the country of Moab, he and his wife and his 2 sons. All right, so they went, they said, look, there ain't no food over here in the Bethlehem, Judah. We finna go to the land of Moab. You know, and I'm kind of thinking about the passport bros. A lot of, these so-called black men, they getting their passports and they going to the land of Moab. They going over there with, Tokyo, China, Thailand, various places in the Southeast Asia region. Judah loved them Moabite women. It says the name of the man was Eli Melech, in the name of his wife Naomi, in the name of his 2 sons, Mahlon and Chilion, Ephratites of Bethlehem, Judah. All right. These wasn't Ephraimites because it was a area called Ephratah in the land of Judah. All right. These were Judites. And they came into the country of Moab and continued there. And we know the Moabites is the so-called Chinese. And Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left and her 2 sons. It's like I was thinking about something through the spirit. It says, and they took them wives of the woman of Moab. The name of the one was Orpah, and the name of the other was Ruth, and they dwelt there about 10 years. So they got to get them Moabite women. And Mahlon and Chilion died also, both of them, and a woman was left of her 2 sons and her husband. So then it's through the spirit. They probably got amongst these Moabites, and they was worshiping them gods and them idols, following after the ways of the Moabites. Because in the law, it says you don't want to make these heathen women your wife, because they have you worshiping their gods. All right. They have you worshiping and following after their gods. Let's see if we can get that real quick. So we didn't make them our wives, we made them our concubines. Concubines or lesser wives. We didn't deal with the concubines in a way that we dealt with our Israelite women, because we had order. I think it's Deuteronomy 10 speaks on that. Let me see something. If not, we're gonna keep it pushing. Let's say it was like Deuteronomy. Hold on, I got my actual scripts right here in front of me. Because dealing with the heathen women could be a stumbling block, and I see that the Lord, he gonna bust up that whole passport bro stuff. The Lord gonna bring some type of judgment on that whole movement, because the videos I see, Jake is over there with them heathen women going into them temples. They call themselves traveling and exploring the land, but they going inside them temples. They eating all kind of way out food, octopus, squid, all the little weird little shit that they be eating out there. So the Most High gonna visit that. One second, I was looking for this particular precept. But if not, we're gonna keep pushing. I don't even remember the wording of it. But it does say something along the lines of, don't deal with these heathen women, because they had turned away your heart. Let me see. Turn away thy heart. You mean to tell me no precept came up with those words in it? Let's see. All right. Yeah, we're gonna keep it pushing. All right, bros can look it up. So we got the example of Ruth, right? Ruth, she was a Moabite. When you read the last chapter, Boaz, he was a righteous man. He was rich. He was righteous. He had the respect. All right. And he ended up taking her to be his, his woman. And she ended up having seed. Let's hit this last verse over here. And we're going into the point of how Israelite men dealt with heathen women. Ruth 4:9, and Boaz said unto the elders and unto all the people, ye are a witness this day that I have bought all that was Elimelech's. Remember, that was the wife of Naomi. And all that was Chilion's and Mahlon's of the hand of Naomi. Moreover, Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of Mahlon, have I purchased to be my wife, to raise up a name of the dead upon his inheritance. Going back to the law that we went into in Deuteronomy, the 25th chapter. It says that the name of the dead be not cut off from among his brethren, and from the gate of his place ye are witnesses this day. So the point is, Boaz, which was a righteous man, rich man, a Judite, all right, believe is David's great grandfather. All right, let me see. Boaz begot Ibad begat Jesse, and Jesse begat David. So Jesse, that's David's father. Obed is his great grandfather, and Boaz is his great grandfather. So King David's great grandmother is a heathen, right? And you have two heathen women in our Lord Yahweh's lineage. Ruth is one of them, and then you have Rahab, the harlot. Let me see if I can get to the point where we at. Okay. See, which was the son of Boaz, which was the son of Salmon. Okay. One second, let me find it over here. Oh, you know what? It may be in Matthew. Maybe in Matthew, the first chapter. Hey, like we say, man, this ain't no fast food. All right, you got to be patient. Here we go. Matthew 1:5. And Salmon begat Boaz. It says Booz, but it's Boaz. Oh, well, yeah. Begat Booz of Ray. It says Rehab there, but it's Rahab. And Booz begot Obed of Ruth. So this was Rahab, that was a harlot. And then Ruth was a heathen. And these two women are in the lineage of Yahweh. So men dealt with harlots and heathens. All right, we got another account. We got Moses. Numbers 12:1. It says, and Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman, the Cushite woman, whom he had married. But he had married an Ethiopian woman. So they was, murmuring against Moses because he dealt with a heathen, but as we keep reading, and they said, have Yahweh indeed spoken only by Moses? Have he not spoken also by us? And the Lord heard it. So they was murmuring against Moses, thinking that, the Lord was dealing with them too, but the Lord, he was exclusively dealing with Moses. Now the man Moses was very meek above all the men which were upon the face of the earth. And the Lord spake suddenly unto Moses and unto Aaron and unto Miriam, come out ye three out of the tabernacle of the congregation. And they three came out. The Lord spoke to them out of the chariot. And Yahweh came down the pillar of the cloud and stood in the door of the tabernacle and called Aaron and Miriam, and they went forth. And he said, hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I, Yahweh, will make myself known unto him in a vision and will speak unto him in a dream. That's typically how the Lord will come unto a man of the Lord. My servant Moses is not so, who is faithful in all my house. With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark sentences. It's not that he was having a face-to-face conversation with the Lord. The Lord wasn't talking. He was talking to Moses plainly. He wasn't speaking in parables and dark sayings. He was telling them exactly what to do. You read about it. When Moses went up to the mount of Horeb, the Lord was speaking plainly to Moses. Hey, you're gonna go to, I'm gonna send you to Pharaoh, and you're gonna put this stick out, take that rod over there, it's gonna turn to a serpent, but he ain't gonna believe you, yada yada yada. It says, in the similitude of the Lord shall he behold, wherefore then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses. And the anger of Yahweh was kindled against him, and he departed. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow, and Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. So the Lord judged Miriam because a woman isn't supposed to open up her mouth in the church. All right. Paul spoke about it. Even though Aaron and Miriam was murmuring against Moses, the judgment came on Miriam. Because a woman is supposed to stay in her damn place. All right. So the Lord judged Miriam and turned her into a damn white woman. All right. And then they begged the Lord to, take that off of her. But the point is, the Lord didn't judge Moses or Masha in the Hebrew for dealing with this Ethiopian. But the Lord judged Miriam because she spoke against Moses. So, all right, the Lord was displeased with Moses dealing with an Ethiopian, then we will be reading about judgments on Moses for dealing with an Ethiopian, but we're not. So now we're going to talk about the topic of gRape. Now, we don't push the vibration of going out and gRaping women. Of course, we don't teach that. But in the ancient world, there were situations that happened, and we had the law, the statutes, and commandments to deal with it when these situations should happen. And gRape was one of them. So, I'm going to get straight to the point. Deuteronomy 22 and 28. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, she's not promised to nobody, she's not married to nobody, she's not engaged, and lay hold on her and lie with her, and they be found. So what is that? That is rape. Found a girl that he liked, he took her and he dealt with her. All right. And see, we're not coming with smooth speech. We're not coming with, things. The scriptures speak about the bitter and the sweet. All right, the milk and the meat. And some topics are hard sayings. Some topics are meat. Some topics are bitter. All right, you gotta take the good with the sweet. Wait, let me see. When you go into this word, let me go back. When you go into this word, lay hold on her, it goes back to the Hebrew word thapash. And it says to catch, handle, lay hold, take hold of, seize. Lay hold of, seize, or wretch, catch. And normally you do this in a rough type of way. Okay. It says to catch, grabs with the hands. So a man saw a beautiful woman. She was a virgin. She wasn't married. She wasn't dealing with nobody. And he took her. All right. And you have certain customs that's among certain nations where they have these practices of uh, bride kidnapping or something along those lines. You got to look it up. But there's videos of them going and snatching up women and getting on. Now, we're not saying for you to go out and do that because we're in the land of our captivity. It's not something that you should, want to do. And quite frankly, um, this is not something that was just commonly practiced. We was setting up marriages. We was giving our daughters to different relatives and different families and having them participate in arranged marriages. But if this were to happen, we had a law to deal with it. All right. And that's just how it is. The knowledge, the wisdom, the customs of the scripts, they're from the East. All right. This Western way, this Western society where you got to meet a girl, you got to get her number, you got to play the phone games, the text games, you got to spend a whole bunch of money to go and deal, to go and court this woman. And then maybe you may get a little kiss on the cheek. We didn't do that back in the ancient world. That's here in Babylon the Great, and other places. So continuing on, Deuteronomy 22 and 29, then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver. All right, you have to pay the dowry. And she shall be his wife because he hath humbled her. He may not put her away all his days. So it was a particular stipulation that came with this act. And then at the end of the day, you may desire this woman. He, in the ancient world, he desired this woman and he went and took her and took it. But he really don't know what type of woman that is, because the scriptures speak about desiring not a woman for beauty, because we're supposed to look for other things that we desire in a woman. Is she submissive? Is she cooperative? Does she know how to cook? Does she know how to clean? You got some women that's very beautiful, but they have very poor hygiene. They may be bugged out in the mind. It's many women I've seen out here that's just completely bugged out. Got demons on them. So it's a gamble being out there and taking a woman. And then, as it says there, if they be found, you gotta pull out 50 shekels of silver, and that was a lot of money. And then if you find out this woman is bugged out or she got some uncleanness about her, you can't even put her away. So you got to deal with her. Some of these beautiful women, they be brawling women and clamorous women. They talk shit. They got rough speech and they like to fight. So, you was rolling the dice on that. So it's better to, you just make a marriage deal with a man that had daughters, and you can inquire what type of daughter she is and how she was raised, so on and so forth, and you pay the dowry and you get your wife like that, versus just going out there and snatching you up one, because you don't know what you get. All right. Verse 30, a man shall not take his father's wife nor discover his father's skirt. All right, going into adultery, that's wickedness. So I'm gonna leave it at that. We covered in Shalom to Denise Todd. I don't know if that's a man or a woman, Shalom. We covered 3 topics. All right, Israelite men that dealt with harlots and heathens, and we went into the gRape topic. Matter of fact, let me add this. In the gRape topic, I want to add this to the description. Okay, she says she is Sister Shalom. All right, so I'm gonna leave it at that. Lord willing, you are edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, the true names of the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, and double honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us the truth. Shalom, Akim, while Akwa stay strong.